So the first thing we're going to do is work on tires and how do I set up tires for rendering purposes. This is what I have right now. This is a tire that's all kind of done up. This is what we're going to work on. The sidewall that I have here is just a generic sidewall, has nice big lettering and big serrations because I really want everyone to see what's going on here. So first things first, before I start doing my tires, I have to get a tire map. Usually get your tire maps from the OEM or a vendor. So I'm going to go into Photoshop here real quick and show you how this works. When I get a tire map, sometimes it's just a flat mat like this, or sometimes it's a AI file with all vector lines. I love the vector versions because I can go in there and pull all these lines and make this map as big as possible. Sometimes if you get a single image like this, you're kind of stuck with whatever resolution they gave you. But in any case, the very first thing I do is I do not use this map. I will go in here and I break this out into little pieces. And that's what I'm going to show you right now. So first thing I did is I ripped out these sections of the map. This is where the serrations on the tire will go. Now that dictates on the manufacturer of the tire and where those go. But for this demo, this is the area that we're going to put serrations in. So the first thing is this is the alpha map that I'll be using. And then I've created a bump map for that. Let me zoom in here a little bit. Once I have that done, I'm going to pull the letters that go inside the serrations. So that's my next map here, which is the lettering. So if I go back to this one, that's going to be these letters here. And after that, I will make a bump map for the lettering. So either it's raised or recessed into the tire, depending on the design. After that, I make a map for the main lettering of the tire, Goodyear, Bridgestone, whatever they may be. And then I also make a bump map of that. And all my maps are really just black and white. One trick I do with my bump maps is, so I will create my outline lettering for the bump. And then what I like to do is go into Gaussian blur and just add a slight blur to that. And what that does, it gives you a nice ramp on the sides of that lettering. So when you apply the bump, you get some nice, you get a better bump out of the map than if I would have just left it all white. So that's a little trick that I do that seems to work very well. Once I have all that created and saved, I usually save them as PNGs. If you save them as JPEGs, that also will work, but you'll get some artifacting just due to compression purposes. So I save all my maps in PNG when possible, or when I remember, of course. So now we're going to go into KeyShot here, and I'm going to switch over to a tire that has not been done yet. I have everything saved in different studios, so we'll just pretend this is the tire that we're doing, and we've just imported it into KeyShot. The very first thing I'll do with the tire is I'm going to look to see if it's separated. You will see here that when I select on it, the whole tire is one big file, or one big model. So what I like to do is actually separate this tire up a little bit so I have control over the sidewall, over the tread, and over the ridges inside. So how we do that in KeyShot is we just right click on the part, and I'm going to separate by surfaces. Sometimes you can separate by model. It all depends on the how the designer put the file together, if he kept the shells or not when he saved it. So as we're waiting for this, sometimes this happens very quickly, sometimes it takes a minute. It all depends on the size of your poly count inside your model. And all I have, I usually start off with just a basic plastic material on the tire, and then we'll go from there. Okay, so this window pops up, and I'm going to select on the tire. on this face or the sidewall. So this is actually grabbing more than what I want. All I want is the sidewall itself. I want it separated from this tread. So I'm at 45-degree angle. I'm going to go down to 10. And you see that just moved everything. That's the sidewall. That's the piece I want. So I'm going to hit split. And now that has split from the model. And then what I do is I go inside here and I select these ridges, because this is what gives you depth in your tire. If you're able to keep these a little bit darker than the rest, that helps. I'm going to split that. And now you'll see those are a separate piece of geometry now. And then I will also go inside here sometimes and pull these ridges or these valleys out too. I'm not going to do that today, but that is another step I will do most of the time. I'm going to hit apply. And now I have my tire separated. So let's get right into this sidewall. I am going to apply just a basic plastic. Let's see here. There we go. Hard plastic rough. I'm just going to drop that right on there. Okay. I'm going to double click on this plastic, and I am going to go into the material graph. This is going to be a layered material. So the first thing I would do here is I'm going to add a little bit of bump to the tire. There's always some type of bump to almost all materials, except, yeah, almost every material. So I'm just going to do a texture. I'm going to apply that to the bump here. If you hit C on your keyboard, you can see what the bump is on the part. And now I will scale it down a little bit, increase the magnitude, hit C, and I'm just looking for just a little bit of bump going on in there. It just helps with realism. Okay, once I have that done, what I'm going to do is make another plastic material. I will just copy this plastic. If you just right-click on that plastic material and hit duplicate, it will duplicate that. And I'm going to apply it as a label on top. What I'm going to do right now is I'm just going to make this a different color because I want everyone to see what's happening here. So right now we have a layer on top of your original material. And I'm going to put an opacity map on this because what I'm going to be pulling out here is the serrations of the tire. So I'm going to double click in there, go to my opacity, and I will go into my sidewalls. Here we go. I've already made a bump out of it. So we got, here we go, serration alpha. I'm gonna hit apply. And right now it's not UV mapped. This tire is not UV mapped. It's always nice to have UV mapped tires, but if you don't, that's okay. We can still get to the destination we need. I'm going to switch this to a planar map, and then I'm also going to switch from model to part. Now when I hit move texture, I'm going to use the X, and as you can see here, now this is being projected squarely on that sidewall. And now it's just a matter of sizing it to the tire itself. I'm going to go to 71, and we're going to call that done. So that one is done for right now. And now we're going to duplicate this material once again. I'm going to do duplicate, and I'm going to connect it to a label there. So now we have label number 2. I'm going to make this a different color. I'll make this green. And then now we're going to change this map to the lettering. So we want the serration lettering. There we go. That's planar. Might have to flip. tell you what, we're gonna reset, go to X. Ha! Thought they would go right in. We'll just rotate that around, I guess. Go to 71. I just have a, I'm probably having a brain fart here, and then I'll remember what I'm supposed to do here in just a minute. All right, go to 71. All right, so there's that. We are going to copy this again. Apply it as a label. And then this one is going to have the main lettering alpha. There we go. We're going to make that a planar map. Make that part. And we'll just scale that up. I know this isn't going in the right direction, but for explanation purposes. So what we have here right now is basically a layered material where I have full control over each section of the tire sidewall. So we're going to go back to the serrations, and now I'm going to add that bump. Isn't that funny? All right. You know, this isn't working the way I envisioned it. Hold on. I'm gonna go to this tire here. This is what it's supposed to look like when it's all done. I don't know why it's. I don't want to waste time here on this. So let me open up this material graph. So here's the basic material graph. This is your main. We have our isn't that interesting? There we go. Jeez, I had the wrong material graph up. Okay, sorry. So what we have here is, I'm going to make this a different color. You can see this is the serrations. So what's important here is we're able to have all these materials on top of each other. If we just applied one material with just a bump map, you can't control these different aspects of the tire. So now if I take the serration area, and let's say I want to make it duller, I can change the specular color, and now I'm making the tire a little bit darker in that area. And usually serrations show a little bit more shine, so I can also make this have the roughness is less, so you can see more of a shine on there. Same with the tire main wording. If we, where am I at? It does get a little confusing when you start having all these maps going. Oh, that's my dirty map. I'll show you that in a second. So now if you had white lettering, you can make that white and still everything else is black. So you have a lot of flexibility when you set up your tires in this fashion. The last thing I usually do is add some dirt to the tire. And I have a map that's just called dirt whites. And again, that's your very last label that you apply. So if I apply that right now as a label, and I zoom in here, you can start seeing, as this reses up, you can see a little bit of dirt marks. Yes, if you're zoomed in very far, close like we are now, you know, there's more work to be done, but for a shot from a distance, just adding a little bit of the dirt to the tire helps with the realism. And then the same thing applies for this tread. So why do I have the tread differently? You see a lot of on a lot of photos, the tread are usually a lot lighter than the sidewall. So now that we have this separated, I also have the tire as a color, and then I also put a dirt on top of it. So if I make this dirt even brighter, we'll make it red, you can see that we can mess around with the colors and make that match into the ground colors that your car is sitting in. I also like to do is, I'm going to turn that off for a minute, is I don't do a straight color when it comes to the tire material itself. Like this is pure black. What I like to do is add a texture to that, and I usually use the camouflage, and I'm going to attach it to the diffuse. So as you can see here, if you look at a tire, it's not totally pure black. I mean, there's wear marks, there's, some of the tire is a little bit duller in areas because of wear and tear. So I do this, and when I go into this camouflage, I keep it as green, and then I go through here and I work on distortion, and I add some spray to it. And then from this point, I do a little mix. I'll go in here and I will make everything, we'll say that number 1 is going to be 5% black. Color number 2, we'll say is 10% black. And then color number 3, we'll say is 15% black. And let's get rid of the color here. Or I also do dark browns. But as this reses up, you can see that the tire now is not all perfectly black. There is some slight color variations. And you don't want these to be drastic from one another. You just want subtle changes in tones on the tire. And that, again, that helps with some realism. It's not perfectly all one color and perfectly smooth. And then once you add the dirt layer on top of it, that just really sets everything into place into the scene. So that's a basic tire. Again, this is, I might have went quick through this, but it's really just you working at it. And if you have these basics of how to layer to create a material, then you have full control over your model. So that's what I want everyone to get out of this demo is not so much, there's no secret formula. It's still the person behind the computer that's doing all the little tweaking of the colors and light and specular that really makes the tire pop. But don't be scared to make this material graph grow and grow. The more layers you put on, the dirtier it gets. It all depends on the look that you're looking for. So that's thing number 1. And of course, if I've gone too fast and you have any more questions, you can get my email off our website and email me, and I'll be more than happy to answer your questions and help you out there too. Another thing that's important for cars is metal, right? And a lot of times, I get a lot of questions on what do I do about chrome. So I make my own chrome. I don't use the chrome out of KeyShot. Just because I want control over everything. I'm just a control freak, I guess, but I want to be able to control every aspect of the material. And with the chrome that's in there, I can't really control too much of it. So I create my own. So right now, what we have here, to create a chrome from scratch, I use metallic paint. And then from that metallic paint, you will take the metal coverage and put that at 1. And then you're going to take the metal roughness and you're going to put that at 0. Clear coat is at 0. Reflection is at 1.5. And your clear coat thickness is at 1. So this, it has the reflective properties of chrome. But the nice thing about this is I can control everything about it. So let's say I'm in a shot and the wheel's kind of blown out and I just want to add a little bit of darkness to it. If I go into this chrome and I just add a little bit of roughness And then I'm able to play around with some of these colors here. I can work on making that chrome just a pinch darker. So something like that. So it's subtle, but now I do have tones in this white area of the reflection. So if I had to in post, I have pixels there that I can manipulate inside Photoshop to enhance this area even more. If I use the straight chrome from out of KeyShot, you lose that capability of adjusting these little fine details. And then from here, I can make any metal material from here. So if I go into the clear coat and I add just a little bit of warmth to it, you know, we can start going into you know, a gold wheel or just an off nickel type material. And then if, let's say this is one of those, it's like a painted type surface, I just got to go in here now and I can adjust my metal roughness. You can adjust your thickness. It should, that changes the look. And it's just a matter of playing with these sliders to get the look that you want. And all my metal is created this way. I have a whole library of, you know, chrome, black chrome, yet nickel color type, you know, reflection like that. We have the dull wheels, the shiny wheels, painted wheels. And so I'm able just to go into my library and just slide things over and already have the material created. But even at that, once you put the dome on, you might have to do some adjustments to the material. But everything's done with the metallic shader for your metal. And then, of course, you can go into the material graph and you can add scratches, things of that nature to enhance the how real do you want everything to look.